Many of you are probably in a situation similar to my own, stuck at home, isolated from friends, family, loved ones, and with a good internet connection. 2020 baby, what a time to be alive! Wow! And you're a WoW player. You clicked this video, so let's get right into it. Shadowlands is coming at, some point, so what are you going to do in the meantime? Hey, it's Soul, and this is a list of 10 less obvious things to do before Shadowlands, because you probably already read the more important lists. Number 1 on our list is to play WoW Classic
because it's so much better than retail.
Okay, the real number 1 is to smooth out your alts. By that, I mean if you have a few that are almost max level, just max them out before the upcoming level squish and things get awkward. This also means getting them a reasonable amount of gear. Pure luck and maybe privilege allowed me to copy my live character over to the alpha, so this information might be useful. My main character, who had an equipped item level of 463 in BFA, was knocked all the way down to an item level of 118. Pre-made level 50 characters in Shadowlands start at an item level of 75. Meanwhile, pre-made level 57s have an item level of 120. So take all that stuff into consideration and hook yourself up as much as you are willing. Number 2, if you don't have alts, make an army of alts. I mean, now's a good freaking time. Some of you might have seen my Brutosaur gold making guide that started basically with make a bunch of alts. But that was during Korak's Revenge, when you could literally gain experience standing around in Alterac Valley. This time, it's not as brain dead, but from now until the Shadowlands pre-patch, you get 100% more base experience. Stack that with stuff like the Draft of 10 Lands and heirloom gear, and you can amass a sizable force in no time. You might be thinking, hey, Soul, after Shadowlands, leveling is supposed to be faster. True, but that was before Blizzard knew that they were going to go forward with this experience bonus, and you're home now, you might have the extra time. But okay, all these alts, for what, you may ask? Maybe it's to make gold. Maybe you want to invest into your future now by having a higher level alt to switch to, someday. It could be for your inevitable multi-box setup, all the heritage armor unlocks that you've been neglecting, you name it. Number 3 is to invest or stock up on talent tree changing tomes. Did you know that while the Tome of Clear Mind from Warlords only works up to level 109, the Legion version of these items, the Tomes of Tranquil Mind, still work at level 120. Currently on the alpha, tomes have not been updated, but there's a fair chance, a reasonable chance, that tomes from previous expansions may work in Shadowlands. In Shadowlands, we'll be toming our talents as well as soul binds, customizable trees that do... I don't know what they do, but the point is there will be more reasons to use tomes. So it might be a good idea to consider stocking up for yourself while materials are cheap, because if the start of Battle for Azeroth was any indicator, herbs are going to be in super hot demand. As for you scribes though, consider stockpiling these to sell to others when demand spikes. Number 4, earn a lot of gold. Yeah, real original, right? But here's my take on it. Once upon a time when I didn't care about gold, and during the days of Cataclysm, I was bored. There just wasn't a whole lot to do. So I decided to go outside the box. Like, forget the days of farming Karazhan, let's play the market. So I got into Inscription, and a few million gold and a Brutosaur song later, I'm a happier player who has a regular activity to fall back on as soon as the raids are over and all that other stuff. Now I just, count money. The moral of the story is that there's more to WoW than just getting your best in slot or killing your rivals on the battlefield. There's also killing your rivals on the market. For me, it was new, it was refreshing, and I'll warn you that gold making is not easy, which isn't so bad, because if it was really easy, it would be kind of boring, wouldn't it? There are a ton of gold guides out there, including ones that I've written if Inscription is a good market on your realm, and as a bonus tip, if you're interested in getting a Brutosaur and you have the spare gold, just get it now. But if you're interested in getting a Brutosaur someday and you know you're going to be short on gold before Shadowlands, don't give up. Keep getting gold until it's on the black market, because I have a feeling that early on, there's a good chance that you'll get one for under the original 5 million gold price tag. Unless Blizzard has it start at 5 million gold and they're a bunch of jerks and, well, okay. Number 5, invest in a garrison to flip materials and make bags. You guys are gonna hate me for this one. So currently on the Shadowlands Alpha, there are no bags that tailors can make, which is a first for an expansion, and that's pretty frightening. But if they do reappear on an upcoming alpha build, hey, that'd be great. For now though, let's continue on. The current big bags have 32 slots and are called embroidered deep sea bags, which require hydrocore, gathered from heroic and mythic BFA dungeons. Bags from legions are made from imbued silkweave and require blood of Sargeras. These aren't what I would consider difficult to farm for, but you'll always have to go back and farm for said materials to make them. Meanwhile, hexweave bags are made from the Warlords of Draenor Garrison, which are also 30 slot bags and are still pretty profitable, and have a really high margin as soon as you get past your initial investment. I'm not going to get into all the gritty details here, but to make your own little bag factory, you need a max level garrison with a tailoring shop, a tavern, an herb garden, and a trading post. Obviously, you need to be a tailor on that character as well. So the idea here is to get followers with a tavern who will help you get lots of garrison resources, which you will then trade for sumptuous fur when it's at a good price, which you will then put into work orders that get you a hexweave cloth, and then you can make a bag every few days, which is faster if you get instant work orders and use primal spirits, and it's even more efficient if you're an enchanter who can produce sorcerous earth. It's easy, right? It's easy. Okay, it's actually a sizable time and gold investment to set up, but once it really starts going, you can easily pump out a couple grand a day. It doesn't sound like much, because it's not much, but hey, almost 6 years after Warlord's launch, it's still churning out easy gold. So if you're super interested in the in-depth process, I'll have my wife write up a guide, because yeah, I just stole this idea from her and put it in a video. And on a side note, you can also put resources from the garrison into making goblin gliders, because that's going to be a thing in Shadowlands too. Alright, number 6, closely related to my tip on hoarding tomes, and it's to, in general, hoard inscription supplies. This is more of a tip for me, but it might be a good way to save yourself some trouble, or to, make money. Unlike most professions, Inscription constantly uses materials from every expansion. Warlords of Draenor, not so much, but pretty much every expansion. One day, the cheap-ass BFA herbs of today won't be nearly as cheap, meaning the price of materials like old glyphs or scrolls are going to go up, so you may want to consider saving some of those materials to sell later. A lot of us scribe people stocked up on Legion herbs and materials thinking that, yeah, we're good for the long haul, but guess what? A lot of you folks buy glyphs. One resource that's especially valuable, Felwort. It's an herbalism world quest in Legion, so if you have a few minutes a day, go out, grab that stuff, and make some gold. If you have a few dozen alts with herbalism, hey, even more gold. Number 7, mount equipment. Having a cool mount feels good, until you get dazed. Now, as of this recording, only 2 zones in Shadowlands are testable, neither of which involves a whole lot of walking over water, at least at the moment. Whatever the case though, now is the time to consider making a round of mount equipment to prepare your characters for Shadowlands. Take this for example, the Comfortable Rider's Barding, which prevents daze, arguably a pretty popular one. At the moment, materials are plentiful. Maybe you've accumulated enough to make a few of these just from scrapping gear. It might be a good idea to put work into making these now before they're more difficult or expensive to make later. On the flip side, leatherworkers can start hoarding these resources and then keep an eye on the market. The prices of items like these could spike shortly into the expansion. Number 8. If you haven't already, consider playing the other faction. With bonus experience till the Shadowlands pre-patch, and from now until May 18th, bonus rep gains from BFA factions, now is probably the ideal time to check out the story from the other side. It's not just about allied races, there is an insidious sort of replay value in Battle for Azeroth with the zone leveling that is entirely unique to each faction, giving you an opportunity to see the other faction zones as more than just a place for some quick dailies and assaults. That sort of divide ought to give even a diehard Horde fan like me a fresh perspective and overall a more fulfilling expansion experience, if I get around to it. Number 9, which is closely related to all these things to do about leveling, shore up your drafts of 10 lands. Across your characters, you've more than likely amassed a number of service medals during Battle for Azeroth. With the expansion wrapping up and the draft of 10 lands being an account-bound item, you're gonna have to go out of your way to replenish your medals if you want more of these drafts, so stockpile a few hours worth now. That is, after you've leveled all those alts like I told you to. And then finally, number 10, relax. You clicked this video because you wanted to see what sorts of stuff I would suggest to keep you playing before Shadowlands. But the reality of it is, you shouldn't have to feel obligated. It's okay to play other games, to take a break, to go outside while keeping yourself and others safe. More than ever, we're living in a time of uncertainty, and World of Warcraft is a brief escape from our own, but it's not the only escape. I hope that one or two things from this list sparks an idea in your head. Even if it didn't, it might for someone else though, so please like this video, it would help me out a lot, and share it with others. Also consider subscribing for more of this and all things Warcraft, and otherwise we'll see you next time. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.